I'm Erika.
And this is Sherry.
And this is
Generation Conversation. All right. How's everybody doing?
We're good.
We're good.
It's Thursday.
Okay.
It's Friday Eve.
Yes.
It's a good time, good day.
All right, Erika, what we got on the menu today?
Today's topic is called How's Your Spirit?
How's your spirit?
Mm.
Now, before we get into it, let's give a little definition or a little explanation as to what's the difference between, or do you feel like there's a difference between religion and spirituality?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How?
I feel like religion is more man-made than spirituality. Spirituality is more individualized.
That's
in my
absolutely
opinion.
correct. Did you read my notes or something?
No, you didn't send me your notes,
Okay.
Sherry.
Sorry. So religion is a specific set of organized beliefs and practices, usually shared by a community or group. Spirituality is more of an individual practice and has to do with having a sense of peace and purpose.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
And to help us tap into that topic, we have a very special guest.
Yes.
Miss Dee Neal.
Hi.
Yes.
Dee. Now, Dee, first, before you introduce yourself, give them the names that you go on, like if they wanted to look you up on Instagram or anything like that.
On Instagram, my personal page, where all the craziness is some Pisces chick. And my business spiritual page is the Zen Company Online.
Yes, go check that out. Really good and crazy stuff.
Yes.
That's fun.
And Dee Neal was actually one of our entrepreneurs that contributed to the prizes when we had some giveaways. Yes.
Did they like their money bags and sprays?
Yes, they did. They did.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Dee, tell us about yourself.
I am from Philly. I live in Atlanta.
Woohoo! Go Philly.
I'm guessing I'm here because I'm a pretty spiritual person.
Yes, she is.
I do a little bit of everything, but the Zen Company is my baby because it's all about energy and taking care of energy. And energy is where it all starts. Everything is energy. I don't think you can be a spiritual person without taking care of your energy. And when you pray, you're taking care of your energy, whether you know it or not.
Right. Right. That's absolutely right. So let me see. All right. So tell us about yourself. Like, you have any kids? Of course, we know all this, but
for them to know.
I have 3 actually. I'll be 46 in February. I'm a Pisces.
We'll get into what that means later.
I'm a Pisces. I have a 26-year-old. Khalid, he'll be 16.
Oh, wow.
And he's a Sagittarius. And I have a 10-year-old Taurus. He'll be 11. And anybody who's about numbers, he's born 5/11/11. And he's a Taurus, and he'll be 11 next year.
Oh, goodness. She has all boys, by the way.
All boys,
all boys.
Not one girl.
There's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, but it's a reason.
Because God is petty.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Like my mom said, I feel like also you're the spiritual expert. Like, you're very, very spiritual and in tune with a lot of things. So we decided it would be perfect for you to come on the show and talk about spirituality. What are your spiritual beliefs?
And God.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. Actually, spirituality can be individualized, but it goes hand in hand with religion too, because you have African-based spiritualities which compromise of a whole group of people. We will call it, some people look on the outside in because it's not individualized. We'll call it a religion, but it's African-centered spirituality because it deals with the spirit, directly with the spirit. Religion does as well, because whenever you pray, you are asking a spirit, we'll say the spirit of God, right, to grant you whatever it is that whatever you're paying for, whatever you're praying for. So you're being spiritual, right? But because it's a religion, because it's a way of life, because it's methodical, because it's something that you do all the time, even whether it's a set amount of time or on a set day, you do it religiously. So it's a practice. So it is a religion.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And I feel like religion is more so a set of practices that embodies spirituality.
right.
So I mean, like, that's what I mean by man-made, because those practices are essentially man-made. Like,
Right.
I mean, granted, in the Bible it says to pray and do stuff
Right.
to honor God, but
The
then
way
you
we
have,
do it.
yeah, like it's changed over time. I feel like how you honor Him and what you do. So that's where the man comes into it.
There's remember Bob Marley said love is his religion.
Yes. Yes. I remember that.
And when people think of religions, they think of the big three: Christianity, Islam, Judaism.
Right.
Your morning ritual, your night ritual, that is religion.
Right.
Because you're doing it religiously.
Right.
The spiritual part of it comes in, and that is your experience with spirit, whichever one that you pray to. You know, we have the Bible, we have the Quran, you know, you got the Torah, you got the Bhagavad Gita, you got all these different holy books. And it's amazing to me how there's all these different holy books and people are convicted to them, but they all say the same thing.
Just differently, right?
Yep. They say the same. It's like, why are you arguing?
Right.
You said you're saying the same thing.
That's a good point.
Because that one doesn't say Jesus is a prophet. Jesus don't care.
Yeah. They get too caught up in the religion of it, and it takes away from the spirituality. So do you feel as though one is more important than the other?
I think dealing with spirit is more important.
Okay.
When I stepped away from religion, I could see God clearer because I didn't confine God to a book, right? That's 1,001 hands have been on. It's been through 1,000 different translations and language. They done took some out. They done added some in. I said, let's get rid of all of that and let me just look at God. And I started with my body, right? Even that, and seeing how the body works and all the systems and how it's a turnkey operation. Whatever did this, we call it God. I'm gonna call it God because that's what I was taught to call it. But whatever did this is so dope to me.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
And so then you look at your body and you look at nature and you see how things move and you see the rules of things. It's like, okay, I can get down with this. All that other stuff is like, why confine something so great to a book? That's to me, and it made me better. I really learned to look at things differently, and because of that, my energy is better because things don't bother me and upset me the way they used to, because I see them from my spirit, right? I look at it differently. Like, say for instance, you know, I used to hate liars. Now I'm like, well, you did that for a reason. Let's look at the root of it. You know, good people do bad things because they don't know better, or they for panic, or they think this is what they have to do. And then you have bad people who do all these great things that we love, and they fooling us, and we don't know how horrible they are until they bite us in the behind. And a lot of times we don't find out till they long gone.
Right.
So it's like you take the smoke and the mirrors off, and you just look at things and look beneath the surface.
Good point. Very good point.
Yes.
I'm telling you. So, okay, now I've known Dee for a long time, and Howard, tell everybody how you were raised.
I was raised Christian in a Baptist church. Okay. Sunday school every Sunday. That pastor, Reverend Haynes, he was the best pastor ever, and he always said one thing, and it always stuck with me. And I need all the devout people to listen and to keep this one thing. He always said, everybody in heaven ain't Christian, and every Christian ain't going to heaven.
Whoa.
Everybody in heaven ain't Christian, and all the Christians ain't going to heaven.
Whoa. That is
He
deep.
always said that. He always said that.
That is interesting.
Because you never think, I never think Christian, you know, anybody in heaven is not Christian.
Right.
You don't even think about that.
Did he elaborate or explain?
I was little, and number one, I'm the one who fell asleep in Sunday school. Lady, how many times you gonna tell me Jesus died for my sins? You know, these little coloring, I'm tired of cut. Like, church was never my thing. It never resonated with me. I'm like, they dumping this lady. Oh, I'm sorry. They dumping this lady. Here she go in the water. She about to drown. Like, why are they hollering? Like all this stuff. And I asked you these things, and because you don't know the answer, then you tapping me on my hand because I'm questioning. No, I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning you.
Right.
Right? If you can't answer the question, just say, I don't know. So it was never something that was me. In the space that I was in, moving away from that, that's me. That's, you know, who I am. I got all those holy books that I mentioned, I got them in my house.
Right.
No one is better than the other to me. Whatever I pick up on a day when I decide to read one of them is what I'm supposed to pick up. Wherever I open it up to is what I'm supposed to have for that particular time, for that particular moment. I don't get stuck in memorizing, because I'll tell you things I've read in the Quran, things I've read in the Bible, blah, blah, blah. Don't ask me where it's at.
Right.
I made it a point not to memorize scripture because I didn't want to be one of those people.
What's one of those people?
One of those people who will get into a religious debate and in order to make you see, or when they want to make determinations about what you should be doing with your life, in order to make you see things their way, they'll reference a scripture like it's going to make a difference to you.
Right.
I never saw a point in that. I'm like, I never want to be one of those people, ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right. And see, the thing is that one thing that I know that you do that a lot of people that are Christian, a lot of people that are Islamic or whatever don't do is that you read everything. And that's what we really should do, because honestly, if you are going to get in an argument, so if I'm a Christian, and which I am, if I'm a Christian and I go to someone and I want to have a discussion with them about something, it's really difficult for me to have a discussion with them if I'm not sure what they're studying or what they know, whatever. So somebody that reads all of it. I know one time in church, church here in Georgia, that was one of our tasks. He tasked us with reading the Quran, and he tasked, because he said you need to know the other religions, and you know, you need to know what's out there. So
and also to be respectful of them.
Yes.
We get so, we always think that our way is the way, right? And we see this just in general conversation. You ever get into a conversation with someone and they may mention something that they do, right, that's different than what you do, and your first response is always, well, I don't do that.
Right.
Who asked you?
Right.
You got to think about what made you think of that.
Right.
It's because you have this unconscious bias against their way.
Yeah.
When we talk about things that are going on in the world, you reference your experience to, well, this is the way I do it. But, or this is what I've experienced. Well, I didn't experience that. Just because you didn't experience it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think that's our human nature to a high fault. I feel like growing up Christian, I am a Christian, but I was kind of taught in the church and in different arenas that Christianity was superior. But I mean, why? Like, and I always, you know, I was taught that and raised on that. So I thought that, but I'm like, superior to what? Like, what is it that is superior? What makes it superior to these other religions or these other people, essentially? Because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it really was really important is your relationship with your God.
Yes, and that's why I say, so would you say, for both you ladies, I'll start with myself, I feel like I'm more spiritual than religious. Would you say?
I think I'm becoming more spiritual, not intentionally.
You doing what you're supposed to do.
Maybe, you know, that very well may be, but I think this pandemic has put a spin on things. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there was a time where you felt as though you had to go to church, you know, and I always felt like, you know, once I got to church, I was fine, but I always struggled with getting there. You know what I mean? With getting there. And then when I was there, I was just like, you know, I could have kind of did this at home. You know, it's good to be around other people, but I could do that at home too. You know what I mean? So I just kind of was going back and forth. So I think it seems like I'm becoming spiritual.
And a lot of people are, like, for what I do with my crystals, you know, crystals and sage, and that's well, it used to be very taboo.
Yeah.
Right.
There are so many people gravitating to, and this is just one part of spirituality, right? There are so many people gravitating to spirituality and away from, because, you know, the religion, how we see it, how we're talking about it, it's based off consequence and reward.
Mm-hmm.
If you do things based off consequence and reward, then you didn't do anything, because it's not in your heart. It's not in your
Doing
spirit.
it for that reward.
Yeah.
And God is like, what you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What you doing? You're doing this for show.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it just to get to heaven, or just not to go to hell, to get away from consequences, then it's only on the surface. It is not in here.
Wow.
Once
that's
you think it, you
different.
did it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that before.
And you have to, thoughts are energies. A thought travels
Oh yeah.
at, I think it's like this, it's just as fast as the speed of light. Like, it travels. You've already done it. Now, can you counter that thought? Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be remorseful of it? Yes, but then ask yourself, why am I sorry? Because I know God sees
Guilt,
everything,
right.
and I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
Or is it that, that was really effed
Yeah,
up
it
for
didn't
you?
sit right with your spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really shouldn't have did that.
Right.
Not
that
even thinking about
that
consequence
probably
and
comes.
reward.
Yeah, that's a good point. It probably comes with training.
Yeah.
Because basically, you want to train your spirit.
Feed your
You
spirit.
feed your spirit and
Mhm.
train it so that it wants to do good
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
it
Well,
wants
here's the
to
thing. Your spirit always wants it. First of all, good and bad, negative and positive, those are relative.
do. Mm-hmm.
That's your flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Your spirit only see, this is what I came here to do. And I'm going to do it.
So is it our flesh that's fighting it?
That's your flesh. Your spirit is basically, I say, like God. All that. Let me give you an example, because I can't put it into words. Remember that movie Lucy?
Mm-hmm. That crazy movie.
Oh my gosh, I hated that movie.
Listen, no, but go back and look at it. Because as you see, the more knowledge that she gained,
Mm-hmm.
the more human she seemed. The less human
The
she
less
seemed.
human, right?
Because she wasn't reacting. She wasn't in
Right.
her emotions, right?
Right.
And so at first glance, you look, oh, she became like a robot. No, she didn't. She got away. She stopped acting in her flesh, and it was full spirit. Because if you notice, she didn't stop feeling.
Mm-hmm.
She just stopped being out of control of her emotions and doing stupid things, because she had knowledge of all things, because she still felt love. She still felt compassion.
Right.
She still felt to do the right thing and to save those people.
Right.
So I say that to say that's the spirit to me, right? With with your flesh, you have all these things. You have what you're taught, right? How
Yes.
you're programmed.
Right.
You have
Experiences.
all these experiences,
Right.
all these triggers. You have all these different foods that affect the way your body is, and your hormones when they get out of whack.
Your
and you start,
environment.
everything
Mm-hmm.
affects that, and your spirit's like,
Like, I'm just here to do one thing.
are we gonna? And it's not that there's no emotion, no compassion involved. It's like, this is not for me to judge. There is no negative or positive, because that person over there that's doing that, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, whether I think it's good or bad. I don't know what journey their spirit is here on. I can't judge it. Even if we see them being abused, or if someone dies, or especially if it's a baby, that baby has a spirit too. The human part of us,
Right.
oh my
Yes,
God, that was
right.
messed up. Why did that happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit down and become a Lucy, you like, I wish you well. What I feel that I'm supposed to do. You can feel it right here, right? Your gut, what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go with that. But I don't know that spirit's journey. I don't know its mission, what it
The
came to. That's
purpose.
between that person and God. And that's another reason why I don't like when people judge other people's the way they are spiritually in their relationship with God, because that's sacred. And really religious people will be so quick to pray for you, not because they want to pray for you. They're praying for you that you see things in their way of life.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, keep your prayers if you're going to do that. We're not going to tap, but tap. Like, keep your hands off of people's relationship with God, even if they're atheists. That's between them and God.
Right. Right.
I understand why some people. I have a friend who he is an atheist, right? And I told him, I said, Charles, I said, you're closer to God than any Christian I know. Like, just the way he is, his morals and his compassion and his empathy and his service to people. I said, you're more godlike than anybody. But I understand why he's an atheist.
That's what I was going to say. So I was an atheist at one time. I was an atheist. Now, granted, let me explain why. My mother had died. Okay, so as I became a young adult, you know, I started saying, it can't be no God. You know what I mean? Come on now. He wouldn't do that to me. You know, I don't deserve that. You know, that whole thing. But, and I was an atheist and diehard atheist too. But I feel like that atheism moved me to where I am now. I know that was the path I had to take to get where I was.
Remember, you always know what you're supposed to do. Life is a domino effect. And if you sit down and think about it, everything, one of the laws of the universe, the law of oneness, everything is connected. Every single thing.
So you're right. I mean, people have their reason and their paths. You know, everybody's path is different. And whatever gets you to where you're supposed to be is the path you have to take, you know. And it's, I mean, God knows that it's people that's going to do bad. He created everything to do what it's supposed to do. So he knows it's going to be people that's going to be bad. So if we all lived here and nobody was bad, it wouldn't be right. So
no balance.
Balance. Yep. So how do you feel about life after death?
Do you think there's a heaven, a hell, or just
we come back, reincarnation?
You're going to keep coming back in different forms until your mission is completed. Whatever mission your soul has, until it's done all its teaching, done all its learning, it's gonna keep coming back. That's why we have past lives, right? And there's some people who do believe in it, some people who don't believe in it. But when you're like a highly spiritual person and you have experienced that, then you understand that there's life before life. So of course there's going to be life after death.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I think, and this is weird, but sometimes I be thinking, I be like, goodness, you know, I might be in another, because I be having deja vu like a mug, boy, and I be like, it's like little bleeps of it, like,
or
you know,
my
like,
dreams.
where do they come
My
from?
dreams be too detailed with people I don't recall seeing in this life. But
and a lot of things that you go through have to do with your previous life. Is residue from things that happened in that life. So it's crazy. We don't even want to get into we don't want to get into dreams, dear.
Oh, I know. Can you talk to her about that offline?
Like dreams. Okay, let's just talk about this one dream I kept having. Because I'll Google my dreams in a heartbeat. When I was in college, I was in this relationship, and I kept having a dream that I was throwing up frogs. Like, I would have it at least once a week, throwing up frogs.
And she would tell me this, and I'd be like,
and it was a horrible dream. I remember, like, the feeling of it coming out of my mouth. And then I Googled it, and it was just saying how you have something you want to get off of your chest. And that time, the relationship was pretty rocky, and there was things that needed to be said that I wasn't saying. So I could definitely see that being the case. But then I'm like, you know, I'm sure there had to be more to it. But I feel like dreams are very powerful, and they mean a lot of different things.
Let me tell you the dream that started the road to me leaving Christianity. I was 18. I remember I was living on 52nd in Florence in Philly. And you know, we have the Inquirer, and I was a horoscope person, so listen, so I went together. So that Saturday night I went to sleep. Did I say I was 18?
Yes.
Okay. That Saturday night I went to sleep, and I dreamt that me and my friends, my cousins, right? We were out, and you know how there's those burger places that in the movies that's like drive up and they got the tables like you never go in,
like Sonic or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. We went to one of those, and there was these two guys there. One of them I didn't see his face, right? The other one was a guy I went to high school with. His name was Corey Flood, and we were, you know, teenagers, so we were mouthing around whatever with them. In the dream. That morning, I woke up. I got that Sunday morning. I woke up. I got the Sunday Inquirer. Wait for it. I was like, I read my horoscope, and it told me to do what I did in the dream, which was go out with my friends. But the biggest part of that is Kari Flood and his friend were robbed at the Checkers on 58th in Baltimore that Saturday night.
Oh my.
His friend was someone I didn't know, which is why I didn't see his face in the dream. And Kari Flood got shot in the chest. And
Oh
killed.
my goodness.
What?
Say word. Oh my goodness.
Say word.
Oh my goodness.
That started off a lot like a series. I had become afraid to go to sleep because it seemed like every
Right.
time I went to sleep,
Something.
something was in my dream,
Right.
and I wake up somebody on the news.
Ooh, that's scary. Be like,
So-
don't dream about me, please.
Right.
Mm.
Church didn't have the answer.
Yeah.
Well, God gave you no God. Don't tell me this is a gift because this is not what that feels like to me,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
So I had to leave here because this is going on, and you telling me, "Hey, God gave you a gift. This this is all you can explain to me. Just say you don't know, right?"
Right.
So I left. It was one of the best things I could have ever done. I've had many more dreams, visions, all that stuff.
Wow.
And since then, but in looking for why that was happening, it opened me up to so much, and I was just it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's
Right.
that? That's why I read everything,
Right.
because I had to try to go through these pages. What is that? What is that? What is
Right.
that? But I found so many other things, right? And I still never got an answer other than you just got some of them prayers, girl.
Right.
That was when I was
That was
18. I
just
done
one.
had so many.
Since.
So many. I had
Goodness.
this girl, and this was just recently. I was selling the house, and it was the on-site agent, right? And my buyer told her to call me about crystals because she had some stuff going on. But I got this thing written across my forehead that says confess everything, right? So like everybody always tell me all their business. And so one day she called me, I forget which, her dad, she was going through stuff with her, like her dad was sick, and they didn't always have a great relationship, him and none of his kids. So she sends me a picture of a FaceTime. Her brother went to go see him while he was in the hospital. He was unconscious, right? And so FaceTime. So she sends me a screenshot of the FaceTime while she on the phone. Picture's literally worth 1,000 words, right? And this gives you an example of how spirit works. So I looked at the picture and his hand stood out to me, right? And so when that happened, that set off a chain reaction. These thoughts, I don't know where they come from. So I said to her, I said, who he tried to choke? In the middle, she was talking to me, but in mid-sentence, I just this hand. I said, who did he try to choke? And then she gets off of what she's talking about. She starts going into the story before she's like, wait a minute, how did you know that? So what had happened was the brother and the dad had a really rocky relationship. And the brother once called the dad's new wife a bitch. The dad got mad and choked him out.
Oh my goodness.
That's not all that happened.
Oh my goodness.
Then here come all these words, and I'm literally on the phone telling her how her dad feels and how sorry he is. All this stuff because he was asleep.
Right.
He was in transition.
Oh.
A couple days after that, he woke up. Right? And he told her everything I told her. I lied to you not. That's to say, you know, how you are a spirit. You're just inside this body.
Right.
You still got to do what you got to do.
Right.
And I don't know why I told all these people that, but you got me sitting here talking, right? But it's
They need
crazy.
to hear it.
And
It's happened for a reason.
And it could be as small as sometimes you don't know what God trying to tell you, what he's saving you from. Like I stopped at the Quick Trip on the way to the 85 off Pleasant Hill one time. Some say, go get some ice cream. So I stopped and got some ice cream. As I'm walking out the store, this vision popped in my head of these cars colliding, right? Why I get on there and it was a crash right where I was supposed to get off 285.
Doesn't it scare you?
No. After so long, you just like, all right, what we doing today?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, had I not gone to get
Stop.
that ice cream,
Right,
Mhm.
could have been you.
because it was literally only 5 minutes, and the
Right.
accident was new.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's what you
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get dreams and you hear things or you see things and you like, I'll just find out what it. Because
Right.
after so long,
Mhm.
you're like,
Right.
listen here, God.
And you really, it's nothing
I don't
you can
always
do to
know what you're
prevent it.
saying.
It's really
Yeah.
nothing you
It's
can do to
nothing.
prevent it. So
You just look. That's why I've learned to look at negative spirit. I try
right.
as hard as much as possible to take a deep breath when something I perceive as negative happens,
Right.
because you don't know what
Right.
it's happening for.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Something
Mhm.
negative, it can be a positive.
Right.
One of my clients, she got my money bag. Her kitchen caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing up in smokes. Then when it come to get an assessment of all the damage, and affected her whole house. It affected her whole house, just the kitchen, but the
Right.
smoke. She getting $100,000
Right.
home
Right.
makeover. She been there for 20 years and have been
Oh, it's
saying, I gotta
time
get this
for
done,
it.
I got that
Good.
done. Sometimes God be setting you up and you
Yeah.
be having an
Mhm.
attitude.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Yep.
That's a fact.
That's a good point.
And I think with spirituality and religion, what draws both atheists or religious believing people, or tears them both apart, is the fact of the unknown. I feel like everybody wants to know all the answers,
Right.
but I don't think we're gonna know all of the
We're not.
answers.
We're
No
not.
one's gonna know. I
You're
feel.
not even prepared.
Yeah, and I don't think we're supposed to.
And that's what I was gonna say. And honestly, if I'm serving a God and I know the answers, that means that
You're at
he's
the
not
same
that-
level.
right.
He's not that.
I don't
But
want to
you-
be. I don't want to serve a God that is, I know the answers, or I'm just as smart as he is. You know what I mean?
I think that's ego. Because you gotta think,
For me,
yeah, I think that's a human way of thinking, and maybe God give people the answers because he ain't Bruce Almighty. God is everything, right?
right?
So you got you have the trees that do this, you have the heavenly hosts that do
Right.
that. They have that knowledge.
Mhm.
Like what was Moses doing on that mountain, right?
Mhm.
And he got knowledge. Jesus, when he went away to Egypt for all that long time, he was learning.
Mhm.
We think that, okay, that will put me on the same level as God, but God don't think in levels, right? God is God. That's one thing about religion that gets me. It gives God an ego. It's the ego that says, I'm up here and you're down here.
Mhm.
It's the ego that says, oh my God, you go putting people on pedestals who don't need to be there because
Mhm.
you've judged yourself. That's all of that is ego. If you ask me, I don't want to know all that stuff
Mm-mm.
because it's too much responsibility.
Right. It
Mhm.
is. It is.
So it's more so you're saying the responsibility of God being all knowing.
Baby, he got all that.
Yeah.
Then
He
as
can have
opposed
it
to-
too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what about, okay, say on a daily, what would you say, or if you even have what us call a spiritual routine, like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed?
It depends on what I'm doing. Because sometimes I go through periods of rigorous prayer.
Mm-hmm.
My days are going to go different because when I'm going through that, I'm going to wash more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're never supposed to go into prayer dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm in that routine, oh my God, it's scrub. I'm going to wash more. I'm watching what I say
Mm-hmm.
when I'm not praying.
Mm-hmm.
There is no sex. There is no drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I even watch who and what I come in contact with,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're in those moments and you're praying so methodically and you're praying, and I'm talking like hours a day, right? Understand that what we said before, that when you're praying, you're sending a message out to spirit to carry on a certain task for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you're praying so rigorously, you gonna get them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is such thing as angels. They do come when you call.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't supposed to be all dirty and messy and
Mhm.
having all this stuff going on
Mm-hmm.
when they come around.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since you called them.
Right.
Are they always around? I think so, maybe, because
Okay.
things are always happening.
Right.
And not all angels are good.
Right.
So if you dirty and you drinking,
Right.
you might get you a not so good
Right.
angel.
Right.
So it depends on what I'm doing. On a regular day, I'm just going to pray at night.
Mm-hmm.
I might pray in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
but I get up in the morning and I go straight to work.
Yeah.
I try to remember before I do anything. When I get out the bed, I say thank you.
Right. Right.
But I don't. When I go pick up a religious book, it's because I feel like it. Like
Okay.
it's not something. Well, I'm gonna read this today.
Right.
That doesn't work for me. That's
Okay.
not who I am, and it seems forced.
Right.
I like it natural.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that.
Yep.
How about you?
I try to make it a routine. It sounds like I'm forcing it from what you said.
I mean, that's to you. Like,
Right.
Well, I mean, no, I don't feel like I'm forcing it. It's just, I just make sure to do it. Like in the morning, I'll wake up, I'll pray before I get out of the bed, give thanks, and then I'll read my devotional, and I listen to my Bible, like a Bible, few verses. Every day I try to listen to it, like as I'm getting ready.
That's your vitamin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then what I've been working on more is praying throughout the day. Like instead of just reacting, like take a moment and just say a prayer and then make a decision or something, or just praying throughout the day, period. Most of my routine.
Like what Muslims do.
Yeah, exactly. Most of my spiritual routine is in the morning though. And I try to allocate time to it. Like I wake up early to do that stuff. So
yeah, and a lot of people, I guess, it's all based on your day.
Yeah,
you know, what
yeah.
you do and you know how you do it and stuff. But mine is pretty similar to hers. Where I do mine, I pray before I get out of bed. I say a prayer. I always say my prayers at night. And throughout the day, you know, I'll give thanks for this. If something happens, good or bad, you know, something happens, and I'll be like, you know, God, you know, like with them finding this boy that, you know, found him dead. Thank you for,
Like that.
you know, I'm looking for the good in it. Like, thank
So
you
it's
for.
spontaneous prayer.
Yes. For the family having somebody, they have him now. They know where he is. They can stop worrying. They can, you know what I mean? Things like that. So I try to look at the good at everything and be thankful for it. But, you know, I read it daily. I used to read the Bible, and I ended up reading the whole entire Bible over a period of time. But it just didn't really do anything for me.
that's where I'm at now. Like this year, I was like, I'm gonna read the whole Bible, but I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like I'm wasting time. Like I could be doing something else that
and you're
building.
Gotta go what's here.
And your mind, you know, your mind is not really. You're just reading words.
Yeah, and this, I'm not.
Yes.
It's not. What is
Like,
it?
all right, well, they said I'm supposed to do this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But the plans, like, you know, the Bible plans, because they're based on situations and stories, and I like those because you know then you can they're applicable. You can apply them to your everyday life. So I like things.
But
like
then
that.
they be, you know, and then they have the verses where they list all this man's sons, and it'd be like 7 verses. I'm like, am I supposed to read this?
Right.
I think the Bible, the only exciting part of the Bible to me is Matthew. Because I'm sorry, I got a different view of Jesus than everybody else. I got a view of him exactly what he said. He said, listen, basically, I'm with the shits. That's what he says. He says, I didn't come here for peace. I came here to wreck shop. That's what he says.
Essentially.
Like, he's so real. He said, look, I'm about my father's business. Go ahead on.
You need to write it in your version.
You really
You need to
go
rewrite it in your
Go
version.
somewhere. He
People
lying,
read it.
man. He
Or,
out,
or
he
just
out
talking
there.
in your version.
Yeah, you need to do a talking Bible.
Yeah.
That's what he out there on the street. He in his little clothes. He's saying, but he don't know me and my dad. What's up? Get out of here. Like, why are you? Listen, man. This he wasn't meant for no dogs.
Right.
Right? He is so authentic.
Right.
Yeah.
I rocks with Jesus.
Right.
And even in that, in the way I speak about Jesus and talking to God, I be disrespectful sometimes. And I learned this from a guy when I was dating when I was like 22. And it was the realest thing ever. He was like, just be honest when you praying and you talking to God. Say how you feel. It's like,
Yep.
okay now.
Right.
And that's more authentic. And to me, God know what he made.
He does, and he know you. He knows what he
Like
knows
this
what
one.
he put into. Yeah, exactly.
I did this.
Yeah.
but I see her.
Yep.
I know she working,
Yep.
so I know she's not trying to be disrespectful.
Right.
And once again, that's my thought. I just gave God an ego.
Right.
God's like, here go the rule. You gonna follow it or not?
Right.
I don't care how you say it.
Right.
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 So
That's
sometimes,
true.
I'll be like, and I tell people this, like, look at God for what God is. God, so that's why we get so confused and so angry at God when bad things happen. God is balanced. I was always taught that nothing happens unless God wills it.
Right.
That bad, disastrous thing happened for a reason. We have orgasms because of God. He made them. So I'm looking at this dude like, okay. I'm not even gonna tell you the rest. I'm like, so you said do that? Okay.
Say less.
Say less.
So I saw a post you put out one time. I'm pretty sure it was you about God being a woman. Did you?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think I've seen that too.
I go back and forth with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I go back and let me tell you, by giving God a gender,
Yeah.
or even if we don't and we call God an it, to me that's blasphemy, right? Because this isn't it. It requires, it depends on, it's vulnerable to creation, right? I'm a person. I have a body. I'm vulnerable to creation. God created creation.
Right.
So by giving God a gender or whatever, even by saying God, we're putting God in a box that makes God vulnerable to me. But because I'm human and I don't know how to do anything else but think inside of people, places, and things, God got a gender, right? And I go back and forth with whether or not God is a he or a she, because when I look at some things, I'm like, oh, God gotta be a dude, because there's no way in the world. And then when I look at other things, I'm like, only a woman could have done this.
And see, that's what he wants, I think. I think he wants that. He doesn't want us to know whether he's, because he's not either, like you said,
Yeah.
God, like, that's for y'all.
Right. Like, y'all
Go
concentrating
ahead.
on the
That's
wrong
for y'all to
thing.
do what I said to do.
Right.
Yeah, I gave you a couple treats that come along with it.
Exactly.
But that's for y'all.
Yeah.
You can go ahead on and keep it.
And I think you touched on this early on about respecting other people's spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very important. And it's not held to a high standard. Like I said, it's superiority and ego runs a lot of it, essentially. And I think that comes from the man-made creation of religion, where it was made by man, so they kind of control it how they want to control it, and then therefore disrespect it, have a divide as with anything else on this planet. But how do you feel we should respect other people's religions? Like, as far as we mentioned one where we like do the research on their religion,
or simply just mind your business.
True.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's not my business who what someone else does. If I date a man who has a different religion, I'm going to ask about those things that I know those religious practices call for, that I just ain't with. So I can nip that in the bud in the beginning. Like, I dated a Muslim, and so of course I'm not with polygamy. I understand the why it is in Islam, where it came from, but that's not where we at. It's not my thing. And also too is, do you require, your mate to convert? If you do, I'm out. Even though I pray from the Quran. But I'm not going to commit myself to one religion because none of it is pure to me, because it's been touched by man. If I had to choose a religion, 9 times out of 10, I would choose Islam. It's more peaceful to me. But I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. My spiritual teacher, he's Muslim. And I went, he Muslim.
Muslim.
This dude been fasting for 8 years.
Fasting from what?
Well, when you fast, and you're in that period, fasting prayer makes you closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
When you're fasting, you're giving your systems a rest from doing all that work. So everything in you has no other choice because you train your mind to think about God.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your body systems ain't going on trying to digest food and all that. Like a Muslim.
Wow.
This man's discipline and patience
It's amazing.
is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't never gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm
know.
never gonna get there.
I know.
But he is totally of service to people.
Wow.
And there's a lot of people that you think about the Buddhist monks.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
That's all they do all day.
Serve people. Yep.
Never gonna get that kind of discipline.
Well, I feel like you serve people in other ways. Like even you coming on this platform and talking about this is a way to serve people.
Right.
So it may not be for you. It's not for you, but it's another way it could come out and be displayed, like you do on your platform, social media, and with the crystals and everything. So
I think, and that's where two things. One, I think that's what everybody should turn to: altruism. Be of service to people.
Yes.
Stop and put yourself in someone else's shoes before you react.
And you know, and I was going to say that one of the ways, because you had asked her what was a way to respect other people's spiritual beliefs, and I was going to say, honestly, it's just to love them. Not to concern yourself so much with what they believe in, but to love them, because that's what God really
is
says.
love,
and that's what He wants us to do. Ultimately, is love one another, and in love comes serving and doing for others. So it all comes back around to love, no matter how you look at it, and no matter what religion you're in. If you notice, that's the one thing in common with every single religion is loving. Loving and serving others. So
what's the first when you in the womb? What's the first thing? The first
heartbeat.
organ is the heart. God is everything.
Yes.
Like if that's not your name, be sorry.
Not we sorry.
Might not be. Matter of fact, I know it's not your name, right?
Well, he has so many names.
But
apparently.
the name, we ain't supposed to speak it or whatever.
Right.
The name that we you already know, right?
Right.
But that's where the Zen Company came from, right?
Okay, let's talk about the Zen Company.
I wanted to gift positive energy to my friends for Christmas. There was this guy that made these pyramids, and I was going to get them from him. I couldn't find them. I didn't know what those things was called, so I went Googling away, and I found them, and I was like, oh, this is what's up. So I can find out how to make them for my friends myself. And now here we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you something, Dodie, and I didn't, her other name is Dodie, I'm sorry. But anyway, let me tell you something.
Don't try to tell nobody. Like, y'all just got the biggest gift
I
ever.
didn't know that.
Nobody knows that.
Everybody listen to the Generation My bad. But go ahead.
So, I was going to wait for this to tell you. So, she gave me one of those little purses, and it's real sparkly.
The money bag.
Yeah, it's the money bag, but it's really sparkly and really pretty, and that's why I loved it. She had other reasons for making it. I loved it, but it's supposed to bring wealth and abundance. So she gave it to me. That was a year ago.
I think so.
It was a while. So I put it on my because it's a keychain. So I put it on my keys or whatever. And last year, towards the end of last year, I had made a goal. And a lot of times my goals are not attainable. I really need to do better. I just make these wild goals.
Everything is
I was
attainable.
going to say.
It is attainable, but sometimes I go.
Nope, everything is attainable.
Far.
You can do anything you put your mind
Well,
to.
obviously it's true because I made this goal that I did not plan on actually attaining. I just made it really high so that it was something I could keep reaching for. Okay. So I made that goal last year for this year. So I was supposed to reach the goal. It was 3 different things on it. It was to save up a certain amount of money. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was a big amount. And it was to pay off a small loan I had taken with the 401k and to pay off all my credit cards. I did all that in August. All of it. And I wasn't, I wasn't.
I need a money bag.
So let me tell you about money bags. For one, that's my top seller.
Okay.
You're not gonna believe me until I show you.
Yeah, no, that's the
my
it's
number
real.
one, my most benefited money bag user. I literally have lost count of how many times this chick done won the lottery.
Oh my!
She got that money bag in June.
Oh, you told me
year.
about that.
She got that money bag in June of last year, right? And a couple months ago, I said, "Yo, like it's whatever she decided to play the lottery, she winning." So, and there's other stuff too, outside of the lottery.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna count all this up. I told her, I started counting in June. And I stopped in October because I was getting tired. Right? From June to October, I counted like $73,000. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
But you're not gonna believe.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
She just be winning.
Yeah.
We're looking at photos of screenshots of the money she's winning.
Right.
Oh. We talking, but the first thing that happened was, remember thoughts is energy. So the first thing that happened when she first made her order, she ordered it wasn't a money bag, it was one of my money pyramids, right? So the day after she ordered, she was like, she inboxed me, she said, I'm not playing with you. She said, I just ordered that thing. I was like, oh, for real? That's how energy works when you set an intention. And because I take care of my energy in the way that I do, once you set those wheels in motion, they're gonna be in motion. She got this. I forget how much it was, but it was a child support check in a minute. She had forgotten. Oh, she said, my kid is 24. I wasn't even thinking about no child. I didn't even know I was owed child support.
Oh my goodness.
She, like, I hear so many different things from so many different people.
Well, let me add something else to it since we're talking about it. You made me a bracelet. Crystals. Thoughts are energy. So, when did you give me this bracelet? Was it for Christmas or my birthday? It was
I forgot. I think it was Christmas.
It was some holiday. But now that we're talking about it, it makes sense because... And I had inboxed you a few times because I could not remember what the crystals meant. But what resonated me most was like strength and confidence. Were like the
carnelian.
Two. Yes. Were the two that resonated with me. So this was when around the time I first started my first nursing job, and I would wear it to work every day because I'm a new nurse. I'm like thinking in my mind I need this confidence and everything.
Right.
Like that was during that period was like before COVID and during COVID. I was given the Daisy Award, the highest award that's given as a nurse. I was featured in a newspaper. I had so many accolades.
And she was so confident.
Yeah, and I need to start wearing it again
you
because
just thought about it,
yes, I just thought about it.
So I'll tell you,
wow.
In the money bag, outside of my little money dust that I make, and I'm never gonna get the recipe for that. But you have aventurine, which is the increaser of chance. Right? And it's abundance. Then you have citrine, which is confidence, creativity, and that's the go-to stone for wealth. Then you have pyrite in there, iron pyrite. They call it fool's gold. That's good for luck and business, but it also both anything that's yellow is this area. This area is your willpower, your personal power, right? And so that's a masculine energy stone to get up and go, complete your task, stop procrastinating. And then there's the carnelian in there to add an extra boost of the confidence, right? And then there's lodestone in there. Lodestone is a magnet to attract. And then I mix a little herb Hygiene in there. Hygiene is a conqueror. You can read all about him. So what happens is when you have crystals in your space, they not only attract, but they clear out any energy blocking what you have coming to you. And it powers your manifestation because you don't even notice it, but you're thinking differently. And so you stop having those negative countering thoughts of I want but no I can't have, right? And so when you say no I can't have, you're saying don't give it to me,
right?
And so that's how crystals work. Like crystals talk to each other. Like there's a whole crystalline structure. It's hard to measure it because science does not have the tools to measure it. Your DNA is a crystalline structure. So when crystals come in contact, it's just crystals talking to each other, and they have all different purposes. Like the mother crystal, clear quartz. It's in your phones, it's in your medical equipment, it's in clocks, it's in electronics, and they use it because it is so strong and it has a great memory. A crystal will do whatever you tell it to do.
Wow.
But clear quartz is the mother.
Right.
Like they call clear quartz the master healer, and it's all over the place.
Wow.
It's so abundant. So yeah,
Interesting.
those crystals I love.
Yes.
And crystals are in the Bible. On Aaron's breastplate, there's 12 of them.
Wow.
I started to do research of just how many times crystals were used in the Bible because there's such a stigma and no, that's against God.
Right.
Why God use them?
Right.
In Revelation, when he was building the new city, he used crystals and said these are protective crystals.
Wow.
There's a reason he's done that. And
That's
there's a
right.
few times in the Bible, whenever God building something, he uses protective crystals.
Right.
Wow. And I began to list them all, but it's so many places, so I go back and forth with it so that I can compile the content in order to put out there so people can know. Because I have a lot of people who are afraid and they're tiptoeing around and may say, but Dee, what's this? But
Right.
because it conflicts with what they've been taught.
Right.
And it's like, why you gonna buy that Bible if you're not even gonna read the whole thing?
Yeah.
And know what's in there. I think that's blasphemy. I think that when you deny any part of God's creation, then you're denying God in a way. You're telling them, no, this is not good enough. And it's because of the way the Bible was rewritten, and people don't understand. Everything is at face value, but it goes so much deeper than just those words. And I'm like, look, God, you everything is usable. You put it all here. Even the little demons you got going on, you put them here for a reason.
Right.
You made them.
Right.
They have
Right.
their place.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. So we're going to wrap this up with a little fun. We just basically, we know you know zodiacs. We know you know zodiacs.
Some Pisces chick.
Yeah, Pisces chick. So we want you to tell us a little bit about us.
I don't know if that would be fair because I know you, right?
That's true.
But that would make it
What you would
better.
have, did you look at that link?
Yes,
I'm not
I
an
did. We
astrologer.
were watching. Oh yeah, we were watching it.
The lab coat astrologer
Yeah.
is I wish he was here in Atlanta.
Right. Oh, where is he?
He's in Philly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He is, I can tell you, it'll be biased, right?
That's true.
I can
That's
tell
true.
you energy wise
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I do.
I got
right?
you.
And that's outside of the zodiac because
I
when
got
people
you.
can't decide which crystal, then I'll just, not everybody's energy sensitive, so it sounds
Right.
weird, but I'll kind of like pay attention to whatever I feel from them
Okay.
and like assign a crystal to whatever.
Okay.
is
So
going
yeah.
on,
So
how it
assign us
comes.
some crystals.
Yeah.
Just one for me.
I just
Which one? No, I'm just saying. If she was to think of one.
For Erika, I will share. I'll give you one, but I won't tell you why.
What the?
Um,
I have to go look it up and figure out why.
for Erika, I feel like definitely citrine, and
You shaking your head like you know why.
I don't even know.
and amethyst, right?
Oh, okay.
Simply because that confidence is still a thing with you. Like you're just this. You don't understand. like everybody else sees you more than you see you, and you overthink a little bit too much, right?
Yes.
Am I right? And so you just kind of like cool that down. It's good. Like don't suffer from paralysis of analysis.
You gonna be trying to use that.
I know, let me put it on the camera.
And Sherry, I'm just gonna say, obsidian.
What?
Obsidian. It's black.
Okay. I like it.
What obsidian does, it has a lot of purposes, but the purpose for you, you need to explore, get to know how to use, and embrace your dark side.
What the world?
Everyone has one, right?
What the
But
world?
but we don't accept it because it's the dark side.
Right.
It's the ugly side of us,
Right.
but it has its purpose. And you can't have balance, right?
I can see that.
I can see that too.
Positive Patsy.
Yes.
Hush up.
I'm just saying.
Explore my dark side.
I have this shirt that said
My dark side.
did you see Game of Thrones?
No, I never got into
I watched
it.
one.
Oh my
I
God.
watched one episode and then I had to stop because the boy died.
I can't even there's crystals in there and obsidian is in there, and unless you saw it, I can't even
I'm sure people out there have
make
seen
you
it.
understand how obsidian is,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
But if
You gotta
anybody
look it
who's
up
seen
after
this,
Right.
the White Walkers in there, they were they were like basically the army of the dead. Well, they used to be human, but they were made from a shard of obsidian being stuck in their heart,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And that's the one thing that killed them too. Obsidian gets you in touch with your dark side,
Mm-hmm.
and remember that's what made them. They stuck obsidian in their heart, and they became their darkness. It's grounding, but it's also protective. And I saw that relation when I saw that obsidian was the only thing that could kill him. Even citrine was in there.
Right.
For everyone who saw this, if you notice, every time Cersei, which is that queen who we all hated, but I started liking her. Every time she was in a moment of power, she had a citrine ring on.
Wow.
So yeah, crystals are all over the place.
Dang, that's so interesting.
They're like little people, but that's another.
That's
topic
another
of the
episode?
show.
Yeah.
Well, that is great. And we gotta have you back on again.
Thanks for having me.
I know. No,
Thank you for coming.
People are gonna request a part 2 of this. I
Yeah,
know
because
it.
it was a lot.
Yes.
You left us hanging with a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You left us hanging with a lot. Thank you.
What I did? Look,
I mean, I'm just, yeah.
Doing my dark side. What the heck?
everyone has one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you know,
Right.
you
You're right. Yep.
get you some obsidian in a journal.
Okay. And just go at it.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank you so much. That
And
was really
remember,
good.
Thanks for having me.
hit us up with that Zen
The
website.
Zen Company Online.
Yep,
And
Zen Company Online.
on Instagram, follow me, and then my website is the zencompanyonline.store.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
Go check
good.
it out.
Go
Got
check it out.
Are
Watch
the
all
crystals
these-
on there too?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's where they are.
Watch
And
all
the
those
spray,
money
and
bags.
the sage spray too.
And the
Oh,
sage
yeah.
spray. And money
Boy,
bags.
Yes,
Right.
all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yes,
Well,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
This
guys.
was good.
This
That's
was
what I
great.
like.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we'll talk at you
Bye.
next time.
Peace.
Peace.